Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this as clearly as I can. A man can share a bed with a woman for many reasons, but only real love changes how he shows up once he's there. Because when love is real, it's not about proving something, it's about protecting something. Let me tell you something that a lot of people misunderstand. A man can be physically present in bed and still be a million miles away. But when real love is involved, something shifts inside him. He doesn't just show up with his body, he shows up with his heart, his attention, and his intention. That's the difference between a man who's just there and a man who truly cares. When a man is emotionally present, he's not rushing the moment. He's not treating intimacy like a task to complete or a trophy to win. He's tuned in. He notices her breathing. He notices her comfort. He notices when something feels right and when something feels off. That awareness doesn't come from desire alone. It comes from concern, and concern is rooted in love. See, real love slows a man down. It makes him patient, makes him thoughtful. Because in that moment, he's not focused on himself. He's focused on how she feels, how she's responding, and whether she feels safe and valued. And let me be clear, men don't naturally operate that way unless something deeper is involved. Emotional presence requires effort, and men only invest that effort where their heart is engaged. A man who loves a woman is mentally there with her. He's not distracted. He's not checked out. He's not planning his next move outside that space. His mind is with her because she matters to him in that moment, and that mental connection changes everything. It turns physical closeness into emotional closeness, and emotional closeness into trust. Real love also makes a man gentle in ways he doesn't even realize. His voice softens. His movements become intentional. He's careful not because he's weak, but because he's protective. That instinct to protect doesn't come from attraction, it comes from attachment. It's his heart saying, "This woman is important to me." And here's something else. When a man is emotionally present, he communicates without words. His actions say, "I see you. I'm here. You matter." That kind of presence creates security. And when a woman feels secure, she feels respected. Men who are just physically present don't understand that, but men in love do. You see, emotional presence is risky for a man. It requires vulnerability. It means lowering his guard and letting someone see him beyond strength and confidence. And men don't do that casually. They do that when they care about losing someone. Because only real love makes a man stay fully present, mind, heart, and soul, not just for the moment, but for what that moment represents. Let me tell you something important. When a man is truly in love, his ego takes a back seat. A man driven only by desire is focused on himself, on performance, on proving something. But a man in real love is focused on her comfort, her emotions, and her sense of safety. That shift doesn't happen by accident. It happens when a woman matters more than his pride. A man who loves you is paying attention to how you feel, not just what you give. He notices your reactions. He senses when you're relaxed and when you're tense. And instead of pushing forward just to satisfy himself, he slows down. That's not weakness, that's respect. because love makes a man careful with the woman he values. Real love makes a man protective in subtle ways. He wants you to feel safe, not pressured. He wants you to feel secure, not rushed. He checks in without making it obvious. He adjusts without being asked. And those adjustments are powerful because they show he's thinking beyond himself. Men don't naturally do that unless their heart is involved. When a man's ego is in control, everything becomes about winning, about being impressive, about taking the lead at all costs. But when love steps in, that need fades. He's no longer trying to dominate the moment. He's trying to share it. He wants connection, not control. And that's a big difference. A man in love understands that trust is fragile. He knows one careless moment can change how a woman feels. So he becomes intentional. He becomes mindful, not because he's afraid, but because he cares. And caring changes behavior faster than rules ever could. Real love also brings humility. A man becomes open to learning what she likes, what makes her comfortable, what brings her peace. He listens. He responds. And if something doesn't feel right to her, he respects that without argument. That kind of restraint comes from emotional maturity, and emotional maturity grows where love exists. When a man prioritizes a woman's comfort over his own desires, he's revealing his heart. He's saying, without words, your well-being matters to me. That's not something men fake consistently. Desire may last a night, but care shows itself over time. And here's the truth. A man's ego can chase attraction anywhere, but only real love teaches a man to be gentle, patient, and considerate with the woman he chooses to be close to. Let me explain something people rarely talk about. When affection is rushed, it's usually because the moment matters more than the person. But when a man is in real love, affection slows down and becomes intentional. He's no longer trying to get to the end. He's focused on everything in between. And that change says more than words ever could. A man who truly loves a woman understands that affection is not just physical contact, it's communication. Every touch has meaning, every pause has purpose. He's not moving fast because he's not trying to escape the moment. He's trying to stay in it. Rushing comes from impatience. Intention comes from appreciation. When love is real, a man takes his time because he values the connection. He wants the moment to feel right, not just feel good. He's aware that intimacy is not just about chemistry, it's about trust. And trust grows when a woman feels seen, not hurried. Intentional affection shows up in the small things, the way he approaches her, the way he checks her comfort without making it obvious, the way he allows space instead of taking it. These aren't moves, they're instincts, and instincts reveal where a man's heart truly is. A man driven only by desire wants intensity. A man driven by love wants depth. Intensity burns fast, depth lasts. That's why a man in love doesn't treat affection like something to conquer. He treats it like something to protect. He knows that the experience will be remembered long after the moment ends. Real love also removes pressure. He's not forcing a pace. He's not trying to control the moment. He's allowing it to unfold naturally. That patience creates safety. And when a woman feels safe, she feels valued. Men who are just chasing physical connection don't understand that difference, but men in love do. Intentional affection also means awareness. A man in love reads energy, he senses hesitation. He notices comfort, and he responds accordingly. That responsiveness is powerful because it shows emotional intelligence. Men don't develop that skill for casual encounters. They develop it when someone matters. When affection is intentional, it carries reassurance. It says, I'm here with you not just for myself. That kind of affection builds bonds. It deepens trust, and it changes how a woman experiences closeness with him. A man who slows down is a man who cares about how he makes a woman feel, not just in the moment, but afterward. And that care doesn't come from technique or experience. It comes from love quietly guiding his actions. Let me tell you something that separates surface connection from real love. A man who truly cares listens in moments where most men only act. He's not just moving through the experience. He's paying attention to feedback, to emotion, to energy. Because when love is involved, her feelings are not background noise. They are the signal. A man in real love listens without being told to listen. He notices shifts. He senses hesitation. He recognizes when something feels good and when something feels uncomfortable. And instead of ignoring those signals, he responds to them. That response is important because it shows he values how she experiences the moment, not just how he does. Listening for a man is not always about words. It's about awareness. It's about being emotionally tuned in. A man who's only there for himself doesn't adjust. He pushes forward. But a man who's emotionally invested slows down, shifts his approach, and adapts. That adjustment is respect in action. When a man listens and responds, he's saying, you matter to me, not in a dramatic way, not with promises, but with behavior. And behavior is where truth lives. Men can say anything, but how they respond when a woman's feelings are involved tells you everything about their intentions. Real love also teaches a man patience. He understands that connection isn't about control, it's about cooperation. He allows space. He allows communication. He allows the moment to be shared instead of taken. That mindset doesn't come from experience alone. It comes from emotional investment. A man who adjusts because her feelings matter is not afraid of feedback. He's not defensive. He's not offended. He's open because he understands that listening strengthens connection. It doesn't weaken him. In fact, it takes confidence to adapt. It takes maturity to prioritize someone else's comfort. When a man is listening, he's building trust. Trust grows when a woman feels heard without having to explain herself repeatedly. And once trust is established, intimacy deepens naturally. There's no force required, no pressure, just mutual understanding. Men who are only chasing a moment don't listen. They perform, they repeat what they know. But men who are in love evolve. They learn, they refine, because they're invested in the person, not just the experience. And here's the truth. When a man listens and responds with care, he's revealing that he sees intimacy as a shared space, not a personal victory. That perspective changes everything. It transforms closeness into connection, and connection into something meaningful that lasts beyond the moment. Let me be very clear about this. When a man allows himself to be vulnerable, especially in moments of closeness, it means his heart is involved.